Welcome, everybody, to the world is mess. I just want to steampunk it. This is episode 91. This is April 15th, 2023, Saturday. I'm your host, Steampunk Star Raisin, and I'm here in North Hollywood, California, USA. And I'm here with my co-host, Daniel Bertison. He is in Bellwood, Ontario, Canada. How's it going, Daniel?
Good.
Good. Yeah, it's unusual for you to be up this late because
Yeah, it's Sunday, April 16th here
are you home
because
alone?
I'm in Eastern. No, no, my dad's behind me.
I thought the computer was in your dad's bedroom because
Yeah,
usually
yeah, yeah. He's sleeping. He's sleeping.
you're not going to wake him up being
Oh no,
online.
no, he's fast asleep.
So you got your own apartment now, or are you going to have your own apartment?
I'm hoping that I can get that apartment. I'm afraid that I'm a little bit too late now, and somebody else got it, but I don't know. I mean, when you look at it, it's not as big. It's not as big as the second one that I wanted, but it's much better than the first piece of
Can't
junk
be too
that I
picky,
saw.
dude. Can't be too
No,
picky,
I know
okay?
that, I know that, but this one is really perfect. I hope I can get it, but I
Well,
fear that I may be too late.
so if you move into the apartment, does that mean you're going to have to buy a new computer?
No, no, I can take this. This is my computer
I thought
because
I, I
they
thought it,
bought it
your
for.
dad. I thought it was your dad's computer. I thought
No, no,
he
no,
bought.
no. They bought it for me. They bought it for me.
Oh, okay. He didn't. He doesn't use it himself at all.
No, no, he doesn't know. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't know how to use computers.
No.
Okay. Well, you need to push forward with that. You
Hmm.
know, you've delayed for years, you've procrastinated for years. I would push forward with that. Do you know how much your housing allowance is on top of what you get?
Uh, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure,
Dude, you
but
need to find this stuff
yeah, I
out.
know.
Okay. You
But like, yeah, I gotta see. I gotta see with my new psychiatrist, and
okay, you need to write this stuff down and you need to
yeah,
find this stuff out, dude. This is critical to your own survival.
yeah, I
This is
know.
not like this doesn't benefit me. This benefits only you.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm just
Okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
just
make a
trying to
note of
help
this
you.
right
I'm
now.
just trying to help you. That's
I know.
all. Don't you want to have you? Cause guess what? Having your own place sounds more attractive to women. It really
Yeah.
does. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess we could move on to the next topic. You were very excited about Star Trek Picard.
Hmm. Yeah. So you saw the last episode? It's really good.
Yeah, I the last time we did a show was on April the 2nd. I didn't actually upload it till yesterday.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just was procrastinating. I've been really tired lately. Um, Almost like a chronic fatigue syndrome kind of symptoms where I feel very fatigued. I feel like I don't know. I've just I don't know. I've just been procrastinating. I didn't get around till yesterday to upload it. So this episode I'll probably upload tomorrow on the 16th because I got some things I got to do this weekend. But yeah, I mean the last show we did a review of episodes 6 and 7. I guess in this show we could do a review of episodes 8 and 9.
Mhm.
And spoiler alert, but yeah, episode 8 kind of felt like a finale because you get to see the death of Vatic,
Yeah.
and and I noticed that they did two different misdirections this season, which you don't really discover the misdirection until episode 9. But first, it was Dominion conspiracy with changelings to take over Starfleet, and
Hmm.
you think it's just the changelings on their own, and then you think that, oh, okay, Jack Crusher, Picard's son, he's got Ironic syndrome, and he's got special abilities where he can control other people's minds. So maybe he's just really gifted. Maybe he is he's like a mutant with superpowers or something. But then you come to find out that no, what's behind the red door and all the hallucination he's had and all the interconnecting vines is organic Borg technology. And I thought that was pretty cool. And now I know that like in Trek culture, criticize like, you could kind of tell that in season three of Borg, season three of Picard, the way it is written, they're writing it as if seasons one and two never happened because seasons one and two were so critically panned. And you can tell this because they said that I think the Borg hadn't been heard from since like the 20 or since the what is it, the
10 years, for 10
yeah,
years.
yeah, been over 10 years
Yeah, but
when
what
we
I'm
had
worried
the
of
murder
is,
doctor version of the Borg, unless they view the murder doctor version of the Borg as not Borg, but
mm,
but they identified as Borg,
yeah,
but
they're new Borg.
they're new Borg. So, but yeah, so I got the impression because they said that they hadn't heard from the Borg in over 10 years. And then season one dealt with X-Borg. So I'm assuming that this is written as if seasons one and two didn't happen. And I think that's the best way to approach it. Um,
Well, no. Remember, they did. Vatic did mention that Picard was a synth, like in
yeah,
the synthetic
well, I
sense.
guess because X-Borg are no longer Borg. So when they were talking about they hadn't heard from the Borg in 10 years, they're
Mm,
not referring to X-Borg because X-Borg are disconnected from the collective.
hmm
And then season two, they're new Borg, which I thought was terrible. It's like, I'm glad that they wrote her character off because she was a horrible character. I couldn't stand her character. That she's basically a murdering psychopath, but yet she's still treated like she's a good guy.
hmm
And I couldn't stand her character because of that. But anyways, focusing back on season three, because it just gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart to view seasons one and two of Picard as if they never happened. But yeah, so I thought that was a very interesting twist. And you got the voice actress who played the original Borg Queen reprised her
Yeah, Alice
role.
Alice Krige, Krige.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Alice Creed. She is the best version of the Borg Queen. She always has provided with her charisma and her charm,
hmm
and she comes off like a real psychopath.
yeah. I remember you
She's
saying
she
that.
just her presentation of the Borg Queen is the best because she was the first version of the Borg Queen. But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I am definitely looking forward to the season finale. I'll also be sad at the same time because there's only one more episode left, and I feel like for the first time in many years,
Mhm.
season three of Picard the is the most legitimate Star Trek that we've had since
Mhm.
Star Trek Enterprise. Because
Yeah,
I hated all seasons of Discovery, although I never got past season two of Discovery because it was just so intellectually insulting and so stupid, the writing, and the characters were very unlikable. So I lost interest after season two. But and then seasons one and two of Picard were absolutely terrible, filled with continuity errors, lazy writing. Um, and Strange New Worlds was very mediocre to poor Star Trek.
hmm
Some of the best episodes of Strange New Worlds were okay. They weren't great, but they weren't super bad either. But then there were some really bad episodes, or there was a really bad episode of Strange New Worlds that I didn't like, and that was the Gorn, where they retconned the Gorn into being like this monster species that consumes its own, and there's only one that survives. And it was like, well, if the Gorn consumed their own and there's only one that survived, how did he even evolve to be a spacefaring race? And
Hmm.
then, that when they spray acid, they get you impregnated with their eggs. That made no freaking sense. And that
That's
that
strange.
contradicts the Gorn from Kirk's era,
Hmm. It
and the way the Gorn were portrayed in Enterprise, because there was one episode in Enterprise that had the Gorn in it as well. The Mirror Universe episode, but or the Mirror Universe episodes, because that was a two-parter of Enterprise. But so I couldn't stand like a lot of Alex Kurtzman DS where they just retcon stuff, they just disregard things without and it's just lazy writing. It's just lazy writing. They're like, well, I have a story and I envisioned it to be this way. If you want to create an alien race that can create space eggs and impregnate people by spraying acid on them, then you need to just create a whole new alien race. But instead, they were like, "Oh, we need the nostalgia factor of bringing back the Gorn. But we need to make the Gorn cool because the Gorn weren't really cool." I can just imagine how the writers are thinking about it. But yeah, getting back to Picard, because I don't want to get too far off the subject. But yeah, I've been all 9 episodes, season 3 of Picard. Significant changes in writing, bringing back all the Next Generation cast. They've had 2 different misdirects. You thought uh, Dr. Moriarty, holographic character, was going to be the main villain, which was hinted at in the trailers. That was a misdirect. And then for a while, it seemed like the changelings and the Dominion were the main villain, but then you realize that the Dominion and the changelings were just working with the Borg to take over the Federation. And so, um,
no, it wasn't the Dominion. It was just the changelings and the Borg.
yeah, well, I mean, the changelings were part of the Dominion.
Yeah, they were, but they're like an off. They're like a. Uh, they broke off from the Dominion.
Yeah, but they were the leaders of the Dominion. They were the core of the Dominion. But anyway, and then you had what I thought was pretty cool. You got to see the Enterprise F, although it ends up getting taken over.
Oh my
And
God, that was the best part. I love the Enterprise F. I've been waiting for a brand new Enterprise for like the longest time,
and it got taken
and
out
it
pretty
was
quick.
it wasn't taken out. It was taken over. But
It was assimilated. But
I
yeah,
was I was
and then you see the same actress who played
yeah,
Lieutenant
Shelby.
Commander Shelby. She's now the Admiral. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she's
Although
like a
she
5 star.
seemingly dies on the bridge
Oh
of
yeah,
her
she
own
was shot.
ship.
Oh,
What?
about that. You know how the young people under 25 got assimilated
Yeah,
and they killed all the older people who weren't assimilated?
yeah.
That's kind of allegorical for today. That's like old Trekkies versus new Trekkies, and they did it's like a mirror. It's old Trekkies versus new Trekkies, but they put in Star Trek. They like old Starfleet versus new Starfleet. I like that. That's really interesting what they did there.
Well, I mean, they were talking about the parietal lobe in the frontal cortex of the brain, where aromatic syndrome occurs, and also there was modifications to the transporter tech by
Hmm.
the changelings that used Picard's DNA as uh, as common biology. And that's an interesting concept in transporter tech, that you have redundancies in common biology. And they had used Picard's DNA as common biology in transporter tech, because you come to find out that he doesn't really Picard never really had aromatic syndrome. It was just genetic modifications by the Borg that stayed with him, and that ties in because it's really well written, really well thought out. why Picard during Star Trek First Contact he could still hear the Borg,
Yeah.
even though his implants had been removed, because the Borg had altered his DNA, and there were some things on a subconscious level that he could still experience as a Borg drone.
Hmm.
So, as you know, somebody who had formerly been assimilated by the Borg, because some of the Borg biological technology was still incorporated into Captain Picard through Borg DNA, and this resulted in mutation that seemed to emulate Ironic syndrome, but it actually wasn't Ironic syndrome. You keep looking away. Everything okay?
No, no, I'm fine.
Are you getting bored?
No, 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 absolutely not.
Okay. So, anything else to talk about on that before we move on to another
Um,
subject? I don't know
well,
what
you know,
I mean. So far, episodes 1 through 9. This is the first season of Picard that I liked every episode.
yeah,
Like season 1 of Picard, the first few episodes I liked, but then as the story progressed, I hated it. And then season 2 of Picard, the only episode I liked was season 2, episode 1, because it had
yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg reprising a role as Guinan, and then you don't see Whoopi Goldberg again through the whole season. She gets played by a younger actress who doesn't look like her or doesn't even act like her. You
Yeah, but
know,
what I see what I okay, first of all, first of all, when Deanna was in Jack's head and they were talking about like what do the vines represent? What do the flower
yeah,
petals
everything
represent?
being interconnected. I
Yeah,
got
and
that. Once we realized that it was the Borg, it made more sense. It was a very subtle metaphor of everything being interconnected, and that's what the Borg have is the
yeah,
interconnection because they're a hive mind.
yeah, but I really like that planet. You know that rose petal crimson planet they showed that Beverly Crusher would always take Jack, and you
Yeah,
can see the flowers from orbit,
yeah,
and it's all red and crimson.
yeah,
And then you don't see the planet itself, but you see Jack and Beverly kind of like walking in the sunlight. You don't
yeah.
see the planet, but you see them walking in the sunlight, and then you see rose petals everywhere. That was very stunning and very beautiful. That seems like a very nice paradise planet I would visit. It's so cool. They didn't show it very much because the budget would be enormous, right? But what they did very well.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Good job.
but when they opened the door to reveal the Borg, I was disappointed. I wanted something new. How many times can the Borg come
Well,
back?
I mean, this whole series is about Picard, hence the name
Yeah.
Star Trek Picard, and it's about the consequences of Picard recovering from being Borg and
Mm.
the consequences of his experience with the Borg, which still impacts him to this day. So it makes sense from
Also,
a linear standpoint and the progression of Picard's character.
yeah, did you like it when what did you feel when you saw the Enterprise D again?
Oh, that was very nostalgic. I That blew me away. I was surprised because originally in Star Trek Generations, they said that they were salvaging parts from the Enterprise D, like removing computer systems and stuff, because they said that it was damaged beyond repair. The rest of the ship had uh, gotten destroyed, but the saucer section was still mostly complete. And apparently, Geordi for the Fleet Museum had been repairing the saucer section for like 20 years. He'd been revamping it, and he brought in, I guess, the space drive section from the USS Syracuse.
Yeah.
So they've
It
brought
yeah.
back Galaxy class Enterprise D. I thought it was kind of funny how Worf said that he preferred the weapon systems of the Enterprise E, but
Yeah, and like
the one
they
strength.
said
Go ahead.
sorry, they said like we can like Jordy said we can't use the Enterprise E obviously. And then they all looked at Worf and then he said that was not my fault. I'm more I'm scared that he destroyed it.
Probably. Well, I mean, the Enterprise E had almost in some ways gotten damaged beyond repair in Star Trek Nemesis. So
Yeah, that
because
they
they
were fixing
collided
it.
with another ship and the saucer section had catastrophic damage. I'm surprised it didn't have a warp core breach,
Yeah,
but or loss of warp core containment. But no, I
but
mean that was cool. I
what's
mean
the Enterprise D gonna do?
the advantage of the Enterprise D is that it's using analog communication. It's not synced with the Federation fleet. So that is the weakness of the Federation fleet. But there had been a conspiracy within Starfleet with the Dominion aiding the Borg, or with the Changelings aiding the Borg to do a Starfleet takeover. So it would make sense that since they had taken over senior command positions at Starfleet, the Changelings, that they were able to manipulate Starfleet into adding technology that made their ships vulnerable to a Borg takeover, because they're all linked through
Yeah, but
communications. And
what is the
so
Enterprise?
the advantage of the Enterprise D is that it's not linked. Um, and in my opinion, the Enterprise D is also, it's a much bigger ship than like the Enterprise E, and a much bigger ship because it was designed to hold civilian passengers, and it was designed to hold family members of the crew. So it has capacity and life support system to support up to like 3,000 people. So it's a much larger ship than, like the Galaxy class, much larger ship, and they still have shields, weapons, like torpedoes and phasers.
Yeah, but they're very
Uh,
limited.
it's not
They're
going to
very
be very.
limited
I don't see it being limited.
because, like, that's what they said. I mean, like, I think Worf or Geordi said that they have limited shields and weapons.
Oh, well, yeah, because he's been restoring it. Well, we'll see. Sometimes you got to think outside the box, and be resourceful. Also, um, the saucer section can separate, and it could become two ships in one. But so in each section, whether it be the star drive section or the saucer section, has its own weapon system. So we will see with the season finale coming out this Thursday.
Yeah, only like what 3 more days to go. Wait, today's Monday, Sunday for me, so it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So like 3 days and a few hours.
Yeah, that'll be the end of Star Trek as we know it. Because from what I understand, they're canceling Discovery. Picard is going to be canceled after season 3 because Patrick Stewart's getting up in age, and I think he said that season 3 was going to be his final season. And there hasn't really been an announcement or whether they're going to do a season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So the future of
No, they're
Trek
filming season 3 of Strange New Worlds.
season 3, they haven't even had season 2.
No. They wait.
They've only
No, wait,
had
no,
one
wait. Season
season.
two is coming out. Season two is coming out, but season 3
So they've
is
already
starting to
filmed
film.
season 2.
Yeah.
So we got that to look forward to. We'll see where it goes from here. I am glad that they're canceling Discovery. They haven't released season 5 yet, but that's going to be the last season. I hate how these streaming shows are so slow to release new seasons. It's really annoying, and it shows you the disadvantage over streaming over traditional television. Because traditional television, you have advertisements, millions and millions of dollars advertisements that
Yeah.
that fund the show through advertisers and through ratings and views, as opposed to where ratings and views are often held secret because it's a private streaming service. You don't really know how big the audience is. You can guesstimate. And they've had streaming shows have really struggled, especially with the streaming wars, with all the content being divided. Used to be everything was on Netflix and it was licensed to stream on Netflix. And then everybody got an idea that they were going to compete and become their own Netflix. And it just hasn't really worked. You can tell the streaming shows that the production quality is significantly less, whether it be
Yeah.
Star Wars, Mandalorian, or Star Trek, that they just don't have as much story or as content to flesh out. And they tend to do a lot of filler episodes because you could tell it's on a shoestring budget because they're not getting the budget or the money that they used to get for a regular television show. And that is the weakness of streaming shows. I really wish they would go back to a licensing. I think what Disney and Paramount have got to realize is that they need to go back to, they need to do away with their own streaming series. They needed to just license the content to Netflix. And Netflix is, got different tiers of accounts where you can, pay a little bit less money and have advertisements, or pay a little bit more money and not have ads. And I think that's the way to go, but they're going to be too stubborn. And for right now, we have, TV show, streaming show stagnation because they're just not really doing as well as they had hoped. I mean, there's even talk that they might even cancel The Mandalorian and just finish the story arc with a Mandalorian movie because the views are just not there. And Disney has said that streaming hasn't worked out for them like they had originally hoped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because who wants to pay $10 a month to have only access to Disney stuff, or only access, yeah, it's cool because they got Star Wars, they got Marvel, and they got their classic Disney movies and animated shows, but that's still expensive. It's like paying $10 a month for one cable channel. And I think it's a mistake for Disney to not release like The Mandalorian on Blu-ray or DVD because you have the whole collector market. But I guess they're so scared that people are just going to buy the Blu-ray and DVD that they wouldn't have a need to subscribe to Disney Plus. Anyway, finishing up this topic, I think we've talked Picard into the ground. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
You want
regards to Picard before we move on to the next topic?
What's it? Okay, I'm not. I was at the mall a couple days ago, and I was talking to a guy, and he was looking for the Mandalorian on DVD. So I went to him and I told him they don't have the Mandalorian on DVD because it's only on Disney Plus. They don't want to put on DVD and risk their numbers, right?
Yeah.
And he said he has the Mandalorian season 1 and 2 on DVD. And I'm like, they sell that on DVD? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? I mean, oh my God, wow. That's the first I've heard of it.
Well, it's probably a bootleg, if I had to guess. Oh, well, I guess I was wrong. According to Amazon, you can buy The Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 on DVD, but it's $90.
Oh my God. Wow.
So you can buy it on Amazon. $90.
Not
That's
really
awfully expensive. If I was gonna buy it, see, Mandalorian. Okay, so it's interesting. They didn't even really publicly announce the release of it, but here it is on Amazon. Hold on, I'll share screen with you. That's okay. We got 10-minute warnings, so keep that in mind. Share screen. You see that?
Yeah.
You can buy Mandalorian. They got it as a group set, seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian on DVD. According to this, released in 2021. Now, the weird thing is, I've been looking for this for years at Target and Walmart, and I have never seen this for sale at Target or Walmart. So I wonder if this is just a special. Yeah, there's only one seller selling it for $89. I guess this is a special just released on the internet thing. It's kind of weird.
It's not worth it.
I wonder if it's bootleg. because sometimes Amazon, because what people don't realize is Amazon doesn't most of the stuff that Amazon sells is not directly sold by Amazon. It's sold through third party dealers, and sometimes they sell. There's been counterfeit video cards sold on Amazon and counterfeit products sold on Amazon, and it'll sometimes take Amazon a little while to catch on. Um, but yeah, here it is on Amazon. Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 on DVD for $89. You think you would buy that?
No, definitely not. It's not worth it.
I have a feeling that that's counterfeit because if they were actually releasing Mandalorian on Blu-ray, um, here's like the Mandalorian video game. Yeah, that's weird because you can't even find it on Blu-ray. It's only on DVD. And that's expensive. I mean, and granted, it's the first 2 seasons, but I have a feeling that that's a counterfeit because you would think that if Disney was releasing officially The Mandalorian on DVD, that that it would be publicly announced and they would brag about like the special features. And then the fact that there's no Blu-ray version of this is only on DVD because it's much easier for somebody in their home with a DVD burner to burn a copy of a movie and encode it to DVD than it is to encode it to Blu-ray because Blu-ray rewritables are much harder to come by than DVD rewritables. And so usually when stuff gets bootlegged, it's usually bootlegged on DVD, not bootlegged on Blu-ray. And also, because I think with certain Blu-ray writables, you have to have a Blu-ray writable drive that's capable of reading it. So if you want to do the widest level of bootleg distribution, you would do it through a DVD writable. I would be curious to buy this to see how real it is, but I could tell you that just by looking at it, it looks bootleg to me. It doesn't look real, and you would think that as popular as seasons 1 and 2 of this show was, that if Disney was doing an official release on DVD, that it would be publicized, it would be in Target or Walmart. Why not sell it at Target or Walmart? This is mysteriously only available on Amazon. I am tempted to order it, but I don't know if I want to spend $90 on something that's probably just a bootleg. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it. No.
All right, so we only got about 6 minutes left.
Yeah,
I know
let's go to
you
the
love
Ukraine
doing
war.
a Ukraine war update. You love talking about that, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, have you seen before we move on to the Ukraine war update, have you seen the Ahsoka trailer?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it? I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it.
You get the first canonical appearance of Dark Jedi. The Dark
Mhm.
Jedi, I think, are the most mysterious in the trailer and the most interesting. And I'm like, finally, a Star Wars show that's not boring or badly written. It looks like because this is written by Dave Filoni, so I'm very excited. I was very stoked with the Ahsoka trailer that's been released. Anyway, so I guess you have nothing more to say about the Ahsoka trailer before we move on to the Ukraine war update.
No.
All right. Going here to Al Jazeera. Well, the biggest takeaway of the Ukraine war, if you look at we're looking at the Ukraine war map, we're stuck in a stalemate. We've been in a stalemate since the last few months, at least. you know, since the Russians pulled out of Kherson, I think they pulled out in February. Let's see. When did the Russians pull? Okay, that was back in November. Okay. So we've had you see that map?
Mhm.
Pretty much no change in the battle map. Since the Russians pulled out in November, the Russians have set up a defense line along the Dnieper River, which defends Crimea and southeastern Ukraine. And you have pretty much the line has stayed the same, with significant fighting taking place at Bakhmut and Soledar. There's been reports that Bakhmut has been partially occupied by Russian forces, but the area is still contested. But the biggest thing in the news I want to talk about is the intel leaks. That's been all over the news this week. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
It says Washington scrambles to do damage control after a major leak of classified documents revealing sensitive information. And then you have, let's see, I got to move quickly. We only got about 2 minutes left before I get cut off. Intel leaks. Engage. Airman. Anyway, there was this yeah, this is the Wall Street Journal. Here's a picture of the airman, which as far as Air Force rank, that's the equivalent of like a private. This dude here apparently had access to classified information. He had been uploading classified information to a Discord server related to Minecraft. And apparently he had a bunch of teenage friends, you know, as this dude was only 21, who had a passion for Minecraft, um, firearms, and Catholicism, and he identified as a libertarian. And Jack Texera, I think that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, apparently this lowly airman was able to spread and leak information which hurt U.S. military intelligence because it revealed that the Ukrainian military has weakness in air defense. They have shortages of ammunition. But anyway, we're running out of time. So yeah, not much change in the Ukraine war other than the U.S. intel leaks by this low-ranking airman in the Air Force National Guard, which resulted in his arrest, and he's facing life in prison because he leaked thousands of documents online. One has to question, like, how good is U.S. military intelligence security when